In these first few circles that I have here, what I'm going to show you is angles subtended by the diameter. So I've sketched some circles here. I've marked where the center is, and I've drawn a diameter through the center. Okay, so what happens when you subtend an angle from the diameter? So what that means is, from this point of the diameter and this point of the diameter, subtending an angle means making an angle. Okay, so I'm going to make an angle to the circumference. Okay, and I've done it a couple of times so you can see it a few different ways. So I can make an angle like this on my first one, and I can tell you that there's a rule that says that this angle that's made by the diameter at the circumference is always 90 degrees. Now let me do one for my second circle here. So notice how this one looks like it's closer to the middle of this bit, and this one was closer to this left side instead of this right side. This is closer to the middle, but because this angle has been made by the diameter or has been subtended by the diameter, this will be 90 degrees. So this would be 90 degrees. And one more, on my last one, I'm going to put it here, and like this. And again, what I've done is I've made an angle using my diameter. Okay, so using my diameter, I made an angle at the circumference. So the angle subtended by the diameter at the circumference is always 90 degrees. A different way people sometimes like to say it is, angle in the semicircle is 90 degrees. This time I'm going to be talking about angles subtended from a chord. Okay, so the chord, I'm actually going to make it using a dotted line. Okay, so notice how I do it here. So one way to do it would be, imagine there's a chord going like this. Now I'm going to subtend two angles from this chord. So this, imagine this is a straight line. I have a point here and a point there on the circumference. I'm going to subtend an angle at the center. Okay, so I'm going to subtend an angle at the center from this point here and from the other point as well. So that's my angle at the center. Now I'm also going to use this chord to subtend an angle at the circumference. Okay, so I can put it here, I can put it there, I can put it there, anywhere I like. But let's put it near the middle somewhere, like here. So notice what I've done. I have used my chord to subtend an angle at the center, and I've also again used my chord to subtend an angle at the circumference. This angle at the center will always be twice the value of the angle here. So if the angle at the top is x, for example, this angle will always be 2x. The other way to say it would be, if I subtend an angle at the center, this will be twice as big as the angle at the circumference, or the angle at the circumference would be half as big as the one in the center. Now this can look different as well sometimes. So I'm going to try and draw this again, but it will look different. It will mean the same thing because I'm going to be subtending angles from my chord, but it will look different. So let's make our chord again. So similar chord to what we had last time, in the same place almost. And I'm going to subtend an angle at the center. So this is the angle that I've subtended at the center. And I'm going to subtend another angle at the circumference. So notice how I have subtended an angle at the center using my chord. And then again, look at my chord, and I've subtended an angle at the circumference. Okay, so remember I said I can put it here, I can put it there, there, anywhere I like. This time I happen to put it around here. And it looks different. Okay, it looks different because the lines are overlapping now. But the last time the lines didn't overlap. But it's still the same thing. So if this angle here is x, the angle at the circumference is x, the angle at the center would be twice as big, which will be 2x. Let's do it one more time. So if I have a chord, again, roughly in the same place, I'm going to subtend an angle at the center. And this time I'm going to be looking at this angle here. Okay, so that angle. And I'm going to subtend an angle at the circumference, but this time I'm going to go this way. Okay, so let's go this way. So what I've done, I've used my chord, so this is my chord, and I've subtended an angle at the center, and I've subtended an angle at the circumference. Again, it's the same thing I did in these ones. And again, the rule will be the same. If this value here is x, this will be 2x. So the angle at the center would be twice as big as the one at the circumference. So here your task is to find the values of the letters. Sometimes they are angles and sometimes they are sides. So here we've got an angle. This is a side. This is B here. This is an angle. This is another angle. We have an angle here. And this F is representing the whole diameter. So you need to find the value of F, which is how long is this diameter here.